Good morning, dear students. As you already know, we have completed this chapter. So today we shall revise it and we shall also discuss the NCERT exercise questions. So let us begin with the meaning of development. Development is a process in which something grows, becomes more mature or advanced. Development also refers to that process as a result of which, along with the increase in per capita income, there is a reduction in inequalities, poverty, illiteracy, and disease. Different people have different developmental goals. Development for one may not be development for another. For example, for a farmer, purchasing good quality inputs at cheaper rate can be a developmental goal. But for a landless laborer, developmental goal could be having more amount of wages. For a beggar, affording food, clothing, and shelter can be a developmental goal. For a woman, it can be having more freedom and more respect in the society. So, development for one may not be development for another. Like, for example, if an industrialist wants to build up a dam, it is of course going to displace the local community, so they might not like it. The next topic that we studied was income and other goals. There are various material and non-material goods that an individual requires to lead a normal life. Material goods are all those goods that can be purchased through money, and non-material goods are things such as equal treatment, freedom, security, respect, etc. So both of these things are important. We cannot ignore the non-material things. For example, if you get a job at a distant place, apart from income, you would see other factors like facilities for the family, working opportunity, etc. So not only is money important, there are various other things that are important along with it. So the next topic was national development. Individuals perceive national development differently. For a farmer, development could be something else, but for a teacher, it could be something else. So under this concept of national development, priority is given only to those who which benefits a large number of people. Now on the basis of development, there are three types of country: developed country, underdeveloped country, and a developing country. And these comparisons can be done through two ways. One, through national income. Now, national income are the total of the income of its residents. All the people that reside in the country, their total income is the national income. The other way in which comparison can be done is through per capita income. Per capita income is the total income divided by its total population. It is also called average income. Per capita income also has a drawback. It hides disparity. For example, when a small section of people has a very high income, the average income also gets high, but it does not give a proper idea about the actual situation. World Bank prepares a report on the basis of per capita income of different countries. They have created a category of countries. The first category is of rich countries, which has a population who have a per capita income of US dollar 12,236 or more. The second category is of low income country. Over here, the population earns a per capita income of US dollar 1,005 or less. Now, in 2016, India's per capita income was only about US dollar 1,840 per annum, and it was classified as low middle income group. So they have created four kinds of group: One who earn more than 12,236, they are called rich countries. The ones who earn US dollar 1005 or less are considered to be low income countries. And in between these two, in between 12,236 US dollars and 1005 US dollar, there are two groups. One is low middle income and the other is high middle income. So India falls in low middle income. The next topic that we studied was income and other criteria. So along with income, there are various other criterias that are equally important to do the comparison, to understand what is the level of development in that particular place or in that particular region. So there are various attributes that are considered. The first one is infant mortality rate. It refers to deaths among children before the age of 1 year per 1,000 children born in a year. Second is literacy rate. It measures the ability to read and write. And it refers to the number of literate persons per 100%. The third is net attendance ratio. It is the total number of children of age group 14 and 15 years who are attending school as a percentage of total number of children in the same age group. So over here, table 1.3 shows that Haryana has got the highest per capita income. Table 1.4 shows that the lowest infant mortality rate is in Kerala. The highest literacy rate is also in Kerala, and the highest net attendance ratio is also in Kerala. So by comparing these two tables, we have understood that even if the per capita income is highest in Haryana, infant mortality rate is lowest in Kerala, literacy rate is highest in Kerala, and net attendance ratio is also highest in Kerala. So all these things indicate that not only per capita income is important, there are various other things that are also important and that should also be considered. The next topic is public facilities. There are various facilities that are provided by the government, such as pollution-free environment, good law and order situation, adequate provision of health facilities, good educational facilities, availability of unadulterated medicines, good infrastructure, provision of safe drinking water, and provision of public distribution system. The next topic is body mass index. It is an internationally known standard which is used to determine whether an individual is healthy or not. The formula for calculating BMI is weight in kgs divided by height in meters square. For an adult person to be called healthy, the BMI of that individual should be in between 18.5 to 25. If it is less than 18.5, the person is going to be considered undernourished. If it is more than 25, the person will be called overweight. Now this standard is not applicable for growing children, as their BMI changes quite often because of their ever-changing ratio of weight and height. The next topic is Human Development Report. It is prepared by UNDP every year, and UNDP considers 3 criteria to prepare this report. These criteria are educational level of the people, their health status, and the per capita income. Now After this report is made, an index named Human Development Index is prepared, and ranking is done out of 188 countries. As you can see in this table 1.6, India's rank is 131. Among the South Asian countries, Sri Lanka is ahead of India in ranking. The last topic of the chapter is sustainability of development. Sustainable development is that process of economic development which aims to maintaining the quality of life of both present and future generation without harming the natural resources and environment. So sustainable development focuses on maintaining the quality of life of both present and future generation. Economic development may cause excessive exploitation of natural resources. Excessive mining of iron, coal, gold, silver, and its extraction of crude oil may lead to gradual depletion of their stocks. Smoke and other injurious emissions from factories and transport vehicles often lead to pollution of the environment. So gradually, for our economic development, so that our standard of living is better, we are harmfully damaging our environment. As a result, it is high time that we accept this approach of sustainable development. Sustainable development is basically an approach which says that we should use our natural resources judiciously so that our needs of present generation is met and also of the future generation. So this is what we have learned in the first chapter. Let us start with NCERT exercise question. The first question is, development of a country can generally be determined by its per capita income, its average literacy level, health status of its people, all the above. The question is very easy. I'm sure you will be able to answer this. The second question is, which one of the following neighboring countries has better performance in terms of human development than India? Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Pakistan. This again is very easy. The third question is, assume there are 4 families in a country. The average per capita income of these families is rupees 5,000. If the income of 3 families is 4,000, 7,000 and 3,000 respectively, what is the income of the 4th family? Rupees 7,500, rupees 3,000, rupees 2,000, rupees 6,000. This again is very easy. I'm not going to tell you the answer. The next question is, what is the main criterion used by the World Bank in classifying different countries? What are the limitations of this criterion, if any? Per capita is the main criterion that is used by the World Bank in classifying different countries. The countries are classified on the basis of its per capita income. The major limitation in this criterion is that it only accepts the economic aspect and it ignores all the non-material aspects, and it does not provide us with the distribution of income. The next question is, in what respect is the criterion used by UNDP for measuring development different from the one used by the World Bank? UNDP has considered education, health, life expectancy, etc. as an important component. It gives importance to human development and it ranks the countries according to their performance. Unlike what World Bank does, World Bank divides the countries into lower income and high income countries. The next question is, why do we use averages? As are there any limitations in their use? Illustrate with your own example related to development. Averages are used to compare different countries or states or regions. The major limitation is that it does not give a true picture about the distribution of income and it does not consider non-materialistic aspect. You can mention the example of two countries which has got same per capita income, but there is a huge disparity in the income of its population and you can explain it. The next question is, Kerala with lower per capita income has a better human development ranking than Punjab. Hence, per capita income is not a useful criterion at all and should not be used to compare states. Do you agree? Discuss. Now these questions have been taken from the PDF version of your NCERT book. Over here Punjab is mentioned, but we have already seen that in table 1.3 Haryana is mentioned. So you are expected to write about Haryana, and the answer for this question could be that no, per capita income is important, but along with per capita income, various other things should also be considered, such as infant mortality rate, literacy rate, etc. The next question is, find out present sources of energy used by people in India. What could be possibilities 50 years from now? So presently in India, coal, kerosene oil, natural gas, LPG, etc. are used, and in future 50 years from now, various non-conventional sources can be used, such as nuclear energy, wind energy, hydro energy, etc. The next question is, why is the issue of sustainability important for development? Sustainability refers to development which takes place without damaging the environment. It is important that development should take place, but it should not compromise on the needs of future. If we start exploiting the resources recklessly, there is a possibility that it will not be available for the future generation, which is not a very favorable situation. The next question is, the earth has enough resources to meet the needs of all, but not enough to satisfy the greed of even one person. How is this statement relevant to the discussion of development? Discuss. Earth has got enough resources to meet the needs of each and every individual, but once human being become greedy, it becomes difficult to fulfill each and every individual's greed, and the human beings are taking up various activities that is harming the environment, such as deforestation and use of unsustainable fuel wood, fodder, etc. So that should not be done. If we judiciously use the resources, it is enough for each and every human being, but if we start fulfilling our greed with it, it is going to hamper the environment and it is never going to be enough. The next question is, list a few examples of environmental degradation that you may have observed around you. So in this is a very easy question. You can write few examples such as soil erosion, garbage dumping, water pollution, air pollution, etc. The next question is, for each of the items given in table 1.6, find out which country is at the top and which is at the bottom. So we saw this table 1.6 when Human Development Index was discussed. So you will have to mention which country is at the top and which is at the bottom. It is a very easy answer. The next question is, the following table shows the proportion of undernourished adults in India. It is based on the survey of various states for the year 2001. Look at the table and answer the following questions. So there are 3 states, Kerala, Karnataka and Madhya Pradesh, and percentage of male and female is mentioned, and the total all states is also mentioned. So the first question is, compare the nutritional level of people in Kerala and Madhya Pradesh. Kerala has less percentage of people who are undernourished as compared to Madhya Pradesh. This means people are able to fulfill their food requirements. The next question is, can you guess why around 40% of people in the country are undernourished, even though it is argued that there is enough food in the country? Describe in your own words. The reason could be there are many people who lack educational facilities, and as a result they are not much aware about how to get nutritious food. And secondly, there in many states the public distribution system is not functioning properly. As a result, people are undernourished. So that is it for today's class. Please complete all these exercise questions. Thank you.